if you are listening to this, well, I guess now it doesn't really matter, but previews today went up for Forza Horizon 6. I've been playing it for the past 2 weeks, a very limited slice of it, and now it has been ripped away from me, so I can no longer play it. It's very sad. But so Forza Horizon 6, latest entry in the extremely popular racing franchise from Playground Games, open world sort of arcade racer, really, really good. There hasn't been one that I haven't enjoyed, but it is remarkable to me that it's taken 6 of these games for it to eventually reach Japan. Like every game has got its own locale. 3 was Australia, 4 was the United Kingdom and Scotland, 5 was Mexico. And now, I'm pretty sure about entry 3 where people were like, okay, cool, Japan. Like when is this going to Japan? Japan's got such a strong car culture.
Yeah.
It was in that one Fast and the Furious movie, famously. That's where the country, really got dug into people's minds. They really enjoyed that Tokyo Drift.
100%.
But it's crazy that it's taken this long. But the good thing is that not only is it finally in probably the biggest map that Horizon has ever seen, and that is now an entire island of Japan, but it's a really, really good and varied look at the region, I think. So based on what I played, there were only about 3 or 4 races in the build that I played, so that's not really that important. The races themselves are very much of they are Forza Horizon races. If you've played any of these games, you know what a street race is, or a cross-country sprint, or none of that is really all that different. But what I did get to do was run around the entire map, as empty as it was, just to kind of see everything. And it's huge. It's really, really cool how it moves between the urban areas of Tokyo City, the sort of docks and farmlands that populate areas around it, to almost nothingness, bamboo forests and massive 5-lane highways that go across the coast. Or if you're watching the footage now, these snow-capped mountaintops that you can get to at the absolute north of the map. There is so much variety to what you're seeing as you move around the space, and there has been in past games, but it just feels so much more and so much more detailed here. They're not just open spaces for the sake of being open. They are very well curated and crafted spaces that also feel alive and within a actual living realistic world, if that makes sense. As you're driving past rural areas, you'll see cars that are specific to that sort of area. You'll see activity in the farmlands around you. There was this really cool moment where it happens in the prologue of the game, but then it happened dynamically as I was racing as well, where I was just parallel to some train tracks, and a bullet train went past me as if it's doing its usual commute during the day. It just roots the racing in an actual real world, where I feel the previous entries, there was this massive Horizon festival that was happening in this region that was just a mishmash of. It was like a tasting plate of the region they were in, and it just didn't feel like a real space. This feels like a real space.
Nice.
It feels like it definitely is bits and pieces from all over Japan. This isn't a one-to-one representation of Tokyo, for example. It absolutely is not. But it does feel like this is a actual space that maybe exists in real life, as opposed to just, a mishmash of different areas. So it's really cool. It's hitting all the cool, all the notes I wanted from a Japanese set Forza Horizon. You've got the big twisty drifting highways, you've got the cherry blossoms everywhere, you've got loads and loads of Japanese automotive representation. I found there's a bunch of these custom tuned cars that you can find around the map and then add to your garage collection, and I found this really, really souped up Honda Civic R, and immediately just oh cool, they understand what they're doing here. They know what cars are popular in this region and what people who love Japanese racing want to be driving. There are the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis and the McLarens that you will be able to play in the actual game, but they have curated the ones specific to Japan for the people who are in the know of this stuff, and they're delivering on that front. So it's really, really cool. I think the setting does a lot here, and I'm keen to play more.
This footage you're watching now was released today, I guess, like the first look at the prologue, whatever. It opens with a Nissan Skyline. I'm like, oof, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
It's good. It opens with a Nissan Skyline and ends with a Toyota like concept car.
Very nice.
So they're very much drawing on the inspiration of the region. And the prologues to these games are quite bombastic. This one's quite tame in comparison. And they're all just kind of meant to give you a taste of the different type of racing you're going to do and the different regions that are on offer. But this one, to me, felt less like, let's race a aeroplane, or in Forza Horizon 5, like there is a moment where you're dropped, you're airlifted and dropped into like a volcano. It's like, no, this is about just showing you the beauty of Japan, or the representation of Japan they have here. And it's way more chill, but it's also I just had a massive smile on my face as I was playing the prologue, because I'm like, oh, fuck, they are nailing this from the get-go.
Visually.
I'm so excited to play this game. Yeah.
Visually, Forza games have always looked good, but goddamn.
No, these games are stunning.
I think Japan is just always one of those locations that will just visually, it's so captivating. There's so much beauty there. But the way they've brought that to life, just looking at this footage, is just like, I can't wait to play this game. It looks, it's like so crisp, and it just looks like a fun place to drive through.
It's nuts how much detail there is to the world. There's the ability as well now. I can't recall if this was in 5 or not, but you can use like a drone from inside your car, or like you can launch a drone from your car and basically go and take photos anywhere in the world. So you're not confined to just shots of your car on the street. You can actually zoom into all the different details around you and like inspect how much care went into all of these like assets and stuff, which I think is really cool as well. Because there is a lot of like, Playground Games made a huge deal about all these Japanese consultants they brought onto the team to make sure that they had like an authentic and respectful representation of the region. And I think because of that, you're getting a lot more than just the sort of cliff notes that someone without experience of the country would expect. You're actually getting real culture put in there that I think can act as, a platform to learn more about the history of the country, which I think is always cool. I think that's where like games like Assassin's Creed have really they've made a name for themselves. Like some of them had that whole exploration, like education mode, just because it's like, we have this region and all this history. Why don't we teach people about it? And I think maybe, I don't think it's to that extent here, but I think there are a lot of little neat touches and details that you could definitely like spark interest in someone just by them playing around in this world. So I think it's really cool. And I think the racing is going to be great as well. The key change they've made here is the progression system. You like start as like a lowly racer now, and you have to build your way up. You even have to qualify for the Horizon Festival, which is the big, racing festival at the center of all this, where previously you just fucking arrived, and like in some, I think it was in 3 or 4, they actually refer to you as the legend. Like you were just this legendary racer that just arrives there, and you suddenly just have all these cars open to you. This one is like, no. You've got to race in like, you got your D tier cars and your C tier cars, and you've got to like work your way up the ladder to finally get to the cool stuff. And I think that's great.
Yeah, which I really like. I mean, I don't have the same history that you do with Forza. Forza Horizon 5 was my first game in the whole franchise, which is wild thinking how old it is. But even playing that game, doing the prologue, going, oh, cool, like super cinematic, doing all these things. And then I can't remember what the first choices of cars were, but it was pretty much along the lines of, oh, hey, cool, welcome to the game. Here's a Lamborghini. And I was just thinking, what? I come from, the Need for Speed era, the Gran Turismo era, where Gran Turismo is a good example of you got to get your license, and then from there you're buying the worst second-hand cars the game has to offer, and it's super slow, but it felt good to progress, get the, level up, get your next car. It's a little bit faster, but more tuned. So I missed that from Forza Horizon 5. As much fun as I had with the game, like brilliant game, loved it. But I'm kind of looking forward to that progression where it is just you start with nothing. You got to work your way up to get the title legend. Legend.
I think a lot of people are are looking for that, because I feel the same way as you. I think the games were very much about getting you into the action quickly, but at the detriment of like it didn't feel rewarding to get big cards. It was just like another card to the
just
collection.
Your collection, yeah.
Yeah. I think it was 4 or 3 actually. You had this like roulette wheel that you would spin after accruing X many whatever points, or sometimes after every race. And there were whole ass cars on that thing that you could just like win like immediately. And
I
it
think
just
5 had something similar. Maybe not a roulette wheel, but very similar.
It was a really strange system to me.
Yeah.
It just earning your way to those cars is like a rite of passage, and I think it is rewarding to eventually get to that. And I get the temptation to just be like, no, here's all the cars, because we don't know how much time you're going to actually invest into this game. But I'm a fan of this progression change. I think it's going to be cool, and I want to see how it like slowly ladders you up, from a Toyota Corolla to a fucking, I don't know, Lamborghini or a Ferrari.
Yeah.
It's going to be cool.
With you.
Game's out in like 15th of May, I think.
That's
middle of May, somewhere around there.
Next month. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, soon.
Really, really soon.